Hey guys, it's Drew here, and we had really nice solid rain last night. It rained for the majority of the night. It rained pretty hard. So everything's looking green and nice. The bananas have thrown out their new leaves, so they'll start kicking now. From my planting over here, the black oil sunflower seeds have germinated. I'm gonna have to go back through here and pluck Kogan grass again. That's expected. It's amazing how everything greens up so fast after one long night of rain. I'm gonna do some more fertilization today. The tithonia that I planted has taken well. Here it's thrown out new leaves. That's the high quality success rate of planting tithonia if you do it by root division. Cuttings can take a decent amount of time to establish. I added some more tithonia to my ferment. One observation I have had from I planted bare root peach trees and nectarine trees at the same time earlier last year, and all the nectarine trees have put out foliage first and really fast versus the bare root peach trees. The mimosa tree is really putting out new growth now, which is nice. Okay, here's the nectarine trees that I have. And for comparison, here's one of the peach trees. It's still alive and has all these little buds that will be budding out, I imagine, here shortly. My moringa tree is really bushing out. Maybe I'll actually get seed pods this year. I need to add some more chopped grass and stuff to protect this mound of dirt that I made, because it's gonna all start washing out if we have any more heavy rains. But germination is really nice on all the little tomato seeds and pumpkin seeds. All the fava beans are still flowering really heavily, but have not set pods yet. So we'll see about that. You know, one thing that a lot of people, I think, miss if you're trying to achieve biodiversity in your garden, food forest, is what most people would consider weeds. are actually super beneficial in all sorts of ways, but also contribute to like the high amounts of biodiversity that you can achieve. Like here's Biden's, and a lot of these weeds I don't even know, but there's just a large variety, and this is a nitrogen fixer, and this isn't something I've planted, but if I can find a bit, I'll pull up where you'll see the little nitrogen nodules. It's not a good example. Let me find some. I was pulling some up yesterday just looking at it. They're hard to see. I don't know if I can focus on them, but you can see the tiny little nodules off the roots. That's not nematodes, that's little nitrogen. But yeah, you've got whatever this type of clover looking weed is. I've got mojito mint, which grows wild all throughout my food forest. You've got some random grasses, which will eventually phase out. I've got in little plots everywhere some high quality weedy vegetable, chickweed, which tastes kind of similar to cucumbers. I've got chives, garlic chives growing everywhere. I've got betony, which is growing, and this is the Florida native betony, growing all over. There's random nettles, and I forget what this stuff is called, but it grows all over. You know, you just have a variety of weeds and different plants that really do contribute in all sorts of ways that I've yet to completely understand, but they're there for a reason. They're placeholders until other species will phase them out. And in syntropic agroforestry, this is what they talk about a lot, is when you have a developing system, is heavily planting with all sorts of seeds that you can get your hands on, especially seeds that are doing, like tree seeds that do really well in your environment, so you can have that multiple strata. And you know, if you can heavily plant at first, which for me it's been a developing system as I've learned more and more, but you know, whatever seeds I can get my hands on from my local environment, I'll plant them. That being the local pine tree seeds, acorns, mimosa trees, whatever I can get my hands on, whether it's considered invasive or not. Here's a good example of, randomly, I don't even remember when I planted them, but there's a lot of these little wild cherry seedlings everywhere from seeds that I collected, and they're coming up now, as well as the some tree seeds that I didn't plant that have just blown over from neighboring trees, like the I believe it's commonly called carrot wood. These trees right here, which can be considered pretty problematic, I guess depending on how you look at it. You know, if I have to continuously chop this back, that's a good thing for me, because that means I just get more and more biomass. But you know, they pull up relatively easy if they're young and you have relatively loose soil like I do. But they've popped up everywhere. But yeah, everything's doing pretty good with all the recent rain. And a good idea is also to plant wildflower seeds that you can buy really cheaply at most stores. And a lot of the different flowers that I have growing is due to me doing that, just buying 2 bags last year, small bags too, and just spreading them all throughout. Like, I forget what this is, but it's got pretty blooms. And I know I've got the black-eyed Susans and the large variety that pop up. Here's another one that has the yellow flowers. You know, and these bidens, which people consider a weed, they grow super well here in Florida and can seemingly take over an area. But that's only if you don't plant anything else and you don't have any other tree species to shade them out. But this is a very large contributing flower to and for the bees. Home Florida, you can hear them probably buzzing around, but they love these flowers. They will choose these if they're there over sunflowers that I've found. It's like the perfect bee-sized flower, I guess. There's a little oak that I planted from acorn. I've got a variety of oak trees: live oak, water oak, pin oak, white oak. I've gathered all sorts of seeds from all the different oaks around my area and planted them. Same with citrus seeds. If you live in the South, you can just, whatever citrus you buy, plant the seeds. Or if you're in my area, you can forage citrus and plant the seeds, and they grow extremely easily. Whether or not they eventually produce fruit or not isn't of my concern. I just want to plant as much biodiversity as I can and take propagation material from that and replicate it as many times as I can. I gave my loquat a little prune to really open up the trunk. As you can see, it's nice and open. With my understanding, most fruit trees need a nice open trunk to promote the health of the tree and as well as fruit production. If I would have let this grow from seed, just the way it was, it would be much denser all throughout here and could contribute to, there's something I do notice with the wild loquat trees is that they can have damage from ants. They seem like if there's a nice crevice in the oak and it collects water a little bit, or not the oak, the loquat, where the water sits, it can kind of degrade the bark, especially of the younger loquats, and ants will get in through there, or ants will get in through the base of the loquat. But it's looking really healthy. I'm really excited about its fruiting potential later this year. It's a beautiful thing about loquats in Florida is that they have multiple fruiting seasons. So it's not just fruiting one time a year. You can get multiple flushes, which is really cool. A olive tree, the Abakina olive, is putting on new growth. Apparently they don't fruit for quite a long time, but as I've said before, I'm not concerned with that. I'm just excited to take propagation material. You know, this tree was 10 bucks when I bought it a couple months ago, and I can take cuttings and propagate on and on again and make, you know, 100 times that in value of trees. The pumpkin is doing really well. This is the bulldog pumpkin, the orange bulldog pumpkin that overwintered this year and has set a few pumpkins, but we'll see if they stick. A lot of times with the high humidity and rain, they'll rot off. But as you can see, it's spread out and it's running over here, and a really high value thing that pumpkins offer is just a simple ground cover and nice flowers for the pollinators. So whether they produce pumpkins or not, you are doing something that contributes to your garden food forest. This is sunflowers from some bird seed. They're starting to produce. And this is the red Mexican sunflower that produces the beautiful orange-red blooms. The yard's really nice and greened up with the rain, and these pigeon peas will start really growing now. I think, and probably, I would say, a month after the pigeon peas get a little more established, I'll interplant pumpkins and butterfly pea and maybe some other beans to really take full advantage of the space. Yep, I think that'll be it for today's garden update. Peace.